What's up, everybody? Oh, let's give it a minute or two and then we'll get started. Man, long day today, trying to get things wrapped up for all kinds of things for this week. So, a couple things before I get started here. First of all, hope you guys are doing well. What's up, Gnarly 20? Yeah, yeah, thank you. My weekend was awesome. I got a little bit torched, a little bit of sunburn right there. But welcome back, fishing friends, to the worldwide headquarters of the Pinhook Fishing Club. All right, guys. Man, I went out fishing today. Not much up on the river. So I had too many things to do around here. So I couldn't go all the way over to Lake Fork. It's sort of close, but it's a decent drive. So anyway, I had to I just couldn't get out there this weekend. Let me get this thing. It's the vise is out of the way. So the weekend was, as you guys know, I made it. I tried to do a live from the actual Bassmasters right there at the crack of dawn, but everybody was having cell phone connection issues out there. You get like 2 bars, then down to one, and I've got AT&T. So, I mean, excuse me, I've got T-Mobile. I used to have AT&T. And so for everybody, the connection was kind of iffy, but man, it was so much fun. So the night before, I didn't think I was gonna make it out there. Uh, I just had a really long week, and then Friday night, I went to go meet with these people because I found when I was fishing, I found this looked like a gem. I mean, it was really cool. I've got it here somewhere. It's maybe already packed it away, but anyway, it looked to me like see, we have topaz here in Texas, or maybe even possibly a diamond, which I didn't, realistically think it was a diamond, but it was when I was fishing. It was down in the water. So anyway, I kept trying to find people who could ID this thing and tell me what it was. So I found this group up in to the north of me, about an hour and 15 minutes. So I drove up there after school. They were having like a club meeting. So I went up there and I walked in there, and it was some older folks, some young, and they were just like geeked out on all these rocks. It was green for March, I guess, for St. Patrick's Day. They had all these rocks. They were really nice and welcomed me in. And so I told them why I was there, and I pulled it out, and everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, what is that?" So they looked at it, and this one dude said, "This is kind of like slag when they're, what do you call it? When they're in a forge, when you have all that extra slag material from the metal. Well, the same thing can happen with glass." And I thought for sure it wasn't glass because I tried to break it and it was hard, it was tough. It didn't look like glass. What it is when they make things like those old conductors on electrical wires or whatever from telephone wires way back in the day, those weird little blue things. Well, when they pour some of that, they've got these whatchamacallits, the forms they pull it in. Well, then there's when they pop it off or take it off, there's that extra slag material. So that's what it was. So I was up there for an hour and I didn't get out of there until, you know, I mean, it was just an hour, but I didn't get out of there kind of late. Then I had to get home, and I hit a skunk or ran over. Well, I didn't hit it, but I ran over a skunk that somebody had hit. The truck stunk. And even when I made it out to Bassmasters at Lake Fork in the parking lot, when I got out of the truck, uh, man, it stunk. And the people were out there were really nice. So I parked and had rods in the back of the truck. And this dude is like, "Man, you need to put your rods in the truck." Not, not saying that something would happen, but just precautionary. And everybody from top to bottom, all the helpers were great that were there. They had a shuttle service where they were moving people back and forth. So many people were so kind. The Bassmasters people were kind. The anglers were kind. Other people were kind. I can't say enough how pro they put that on. So anyway, I got there early, and you can see in the video, but I wanted to show you some stuff that I came out of there with. One being this hat, and these people were wonderful from Lake Fork Trophy Lures. So you'll see in the video, there's a young lady there who kind of goes through some stuff. And, the company's been around for quite a while, but I've only had access to their stuff like maybe the last 4 years. I really use their stuff. And where is it? Here it is. One of these little V-tails magic shad. And I've got it running on a single bladed MEPS. And this is one of my MEPS that's kind of beat up, but these things are great, man. So the people there were really nice, and I made some purchases from them, the hat, and I got some more of these. They're good stuff. Bourbon Street. I guess they were saying it's a new color, so I said, "Hey, why not?" I like those dark colors because for me they work. Black Senkos, spinner baits, jigs, any swim baits that are black, crankbaits. For me, I have a lot of experience, a lot of good luck with black colors, whether it's clear water or that dark water when I'm fishing up north. Okay, let me put this here. Ugh. Then I've used these before, and this isn't that Bourbon Street color. And on the back, they've got some good stuff. Some instructions on how to Texas rig it. See if you can see that. They give you some instructions on how to Texas rig it. Drop shot, which is kind of cool. Like a little shaky head type deal, or a weightless rig, Carolina rig. So you can kind of see how, and of course, wacky rig. And they have all the components that you can use for that. So all the terminal tackle for that. All right, what's going on here? Getting email or messages come through, and these guys, these remind me of the old school French fries. Look at the rings on that, man. I'm a sucker for stuff like this. So I used to be really into Senkos. This is before I started YouTube. I mean, I had so much fun throwing every kind of Senko, and even when I did have the channel, I tried different companies. So I was with Yamamoto for a long time, the original Yamasenko, and then I moved over to Yum to try their stuff, and I really like that. So I got this, the Lake Fork stuff, then I got this t-shirt, because I love throwing those rattle traps. And then I stopped by all kinds of booths. I stopped by the Bass University guys, talked to them for a little bit. I helped them out because when I was at the crack of dawn, nobody was there, but the wind had blown their stickers all in front of their booth. So I picked them up, put them on the table, and then put they had I don't know, it's like a big thing of tape or some kind of ribbon, and I put that on top of it to hold them. Then I went around, saw Dakota Lithium, their deal, Yamaha. I think Powell was there. I wanted to go by and talk to him. He didn't make the cut for the next 2 days, but I follow him on social media, and he's such a great family guy. So then I went around. They had some local stuff there, and Then I stopped by Parks and Wildlife, Texas Parks and Wildlife, which I'm a huge supporter of, clear back to my days when I go out to Paladero Canyon, to Paladero Canyon State Park by Amarillo, and uh, Caprock Canyon State Park. They do such a great job. There's only one time where I've been kind of concerned about, something, and that is at Lake, uh, oh, what's that one above Sulphur Springs? Jim Chapman, whatever. They had that really cool fishing pier that stretches way out. Well, that thing got wrecked. I mean, it's like 200 yards long, and I don't know what happened to it. It must have been during a storm or something, but they haven't fixed it in like a long time. And when I saw a video of the park, I was like, oh man, because Texas Parks and Wildlife will do like a promo video for each park. And they have this old timer there who'd go out there and fit. Gene was his name. And he's like cracking a crappie left and right off of this dock. And people are catching bass. I was like, man, I got to get out there. When I got there, it was like Clark Griswold when he gets to Wally World and it's closed. I was like, what? I parked, I hiked down this thing, and that whole fishing pier is all busted up. And you could see where it would be pretty cool. It was these big lights, like about every 20 feet. They were all bent over and busted up, concrete split. And I was like, what's going on here? Oh, it was such a beatdown. So, man, me being who I am, Mr. Concerned and school teacher mode, when I was leaving, I stopped in there and I talked to the people. I was like, hey, what's the deal with the fishing pier back there? And they're like, well, they got the money and they were going to do it in this year. And then they had to redo the measurements. Now they're thinking in 2026, they'll start working on it. And I was like, man, they need to get it going, because think of all the kids in the area, school kids. They want to come out on a field trip or whatever. They want to get out there and walk on that thing, or families. And so the lady was like, yeah, we know. So they're working on it. But anyway, so Texas Parks and Wildlife, it was a Share Lunker people were there. So I got this outdoor manual. It's kind of like a little regulation thing. And I was looking through it, hunting, fishing, and boating regulations. So you've seen the lady on different podcasts, and she works there. What's her name? Connie, maybe? But anyway, she was real nice, and she gave me this little pocket manual, a whole bunch of them, so I could give to the kids at school. And really, anybody could use this to look at stuff. So I was looking at like our freshwater drum, which I cracked one of those the other day. And of course, like the Guadalupe bass, our state fish. Man, I'm going to try to get one of those over spring break. It's this one down here. I've caught them before, and they're not very big, but I'm going to try again. But I do have a trip planned to the coast, so I'm going to do that. Oh, the drum family. And it got walleye. See, up around Amarillo, you got walleye, but the drum. And actually, they're good eating. But, people freak out about drum. Anyway, so this is good stuff. I got one of these, a whole bunch of these she gave me to show the kids. And then she also gave me a whole bunch of stickers. So, life's better outside fishing. So I've got some stuff to give to them. And then when I got this t-shirt, I got to pick out 2 packs. And they had all kinds of different stuff out there. So I grabbed some Yamamoto's. These are baby bass. 5-inch. Hey, and I've had good luck with the baby bass color. A lot of people don't like it. Doesn't bother me one bit. I've caught quite a few on them. Okay, let me get that out of the way. Then I also got the rattle trap cap. And this one, right when they'd already done the stage stuff at the very end, and he was in his boat. He was pulling his boat out. Gilchrist is a wrap on his truck, and his truck is really cool. But this is Chris Zaldane's right here. So I said, you don't mind signing a rattle trap? Had to use like, no, man. So he signed it, and then he looked really tired, and I didn't want to interview him. I'd already interviewed a bunch of people. So, and he was trying to get his truck to get it back down to get the boat out. He had just parked the boat coming up to get his truck. And I wondered if Trey, if you don't know Trey, his wife, helps him with a podcast. And she's a great angler. And she used to, I don't know if she still does, but she did a bunch of tournaments. And so I said, hey, is Trey around? I want to ask her a few questions because I work with the school, and maybe she can share some tips for some female anglers, like girls growing up, and especially my crew. They're still trying to figure out what hobbies they like. But she wasn't there. She had to. They had their big camper they brought, and they were somewhere. He said she was back at the camper. But anyway, he was real nice. He said, well, you can always send her a DM and then get a hold of her that way. But man, he looked really tired. So then the other one, the big one was I had a Smithwick ready to go to take to get it. I wanted Mark Menendez autograph on that. But carrying the GoPro, my stuff, the Smithwick was too big. So I had the fat-free shad, the bomber, and the guy signed it. So Jacob Prawaznik, I know I'm not saying that right. So he signed it. Really nice. And then there's Ben Millikins. And in the video I talked to him. The thing is, the dude is tall. I mean, he is tall, like basketball player tall. And so I'm holding my phone, the GoPro, and this, and a Sharpie. So I hand it to him, and then the GoPro is like right here on him. And I can't see through the little GoPro screen because how the sun was and everything was going. So it was just pure luck that I got anything out of there. But anyway, he was so nice. And I only got just a couple of minutes there. I didn't want to have stick the camera in his face, but he talked to us for quite a bit. And then Buddy Gross, I talked to him. He was fun to talk to. Him and Taku Itu. Taku, I got his signature. He's a Japanese, and they were talking over there for quite a while. And I was looking at all the wraps on the trucks, and I came back by, and they finished talking, and I saw Taku, and I waved to him, and I pointed to the camera. And so I wanted to talk to him. Man, he's a cool dude. And you could see he went right into interview mode. He said, I'm Taku Itu, Bassmaster Elite Pro Angler. And you can see he knows exactly where to go when he starts a conversation. And then, of course, the legend, Mark Menendez. He's an older guy, but man, he can fish. And he's the one that was watching some good stuff where he talked about if your baits don't have that shad dot, it doesn't have to be a shad pattern, but you put that on there and you move it in front of people, even they're going to focus on that dot, and the fish will do the same thing when it's coming in. And one thing is, you'll know if a fish is really there to choke it if he hits it from the front end, because when a bass is going to eat like a bluegill, shad, not so much. I think they understand that they can hit it from anywhere, but a bluegill, they'll always hit it from the front. That way, the spines, if they get it from the back end, they're not having to deal with those spines going down their throat. So it's like the bluegill or sunfish way to defend themselves, but they'll crush it from the side. But anyway, so Mark Menendez is just such a wealth of information. He was tired getting off the boat, and at the very end there, when he was pulling in right up, when they nosed it right in, the grass was there. That whole complex, guys, at Lake Fork is just built for this. the big horseshoe in there where everyone can pull, all the boats can pull in. Well, he was drinking water, packing stuff up on the boat, and then he got off the boat and he waved, and I asked him, I said, "Hey, you want to sign a bomber?" And he said, "Sure thing." And then he was talking to, oh, I can't remember who was next to him. They were talking about a strategy. Look, man, he's like, "Man, I saw you go into that creek cove, and and I was wondering if you're going to get something out of there." And anyway, but he was trying to open the package. He was trying to open this and to sign the bait, and he looked at it. And I said, "Yeah, you can just sign the plastic." So this is what I did. I had to put a couple of staples in here before I left, because I notice the little blister packs when I get home, even though there's clips here, sometimes it'll come off. And I said, you know what, I'm going to secure this thing, because if I'm taking it in and out, I don't want to have any problems. And so I did that with the Smithwick. So I had 3 or 4 different lures. I had a couple of collector's edition, or no, I had a collector's edition flat A, and what else did I have? Oh, just the Smithwick's Perfect 10s, and I was going to have them sign. Let me show you what that flat A looks like. The thing is, it was too big for me to carry around. Oh, my knees. I know you're in here somewhere. Here we go. This one. See how wide that is? This is a lure net paint shop. It's a reverse colored perch. So, and then it said lure net on there, which is fine with me, but I was like, I gotta get one that says bomber on there, because, you know, I used to work in Gainesville, Texas, the old home of bomber. And I was gonna take this one and that purple IU, and then I have the Smithwicks lined up, ready to go. The Perfect 10s. This is a deep Rattling Rogue. But I was like, well, I'm just going to go with the citrus. Citrus is one of the colors that's absolutely deadly. Ugh. So I got that, and I was like, man, this is, you know, this is pretty cool. So I got the autographs, and anyway, so he signed it, and technically I could have gone from boat to boat to boat and started racking up signatures on the back, and then, you know, either this hat or the rattle trap. I mean, there were people there, you know, kind of standing there looking, and he was talking, or they were talking to the anglers, and like Fujita was there. He pulled up a couple boats away, and I was like, man, that'd be cool to get his autograph. But they all looked like they were spent, because it was cool in the morning at the launch, and in the afternoon, man, I got sunburned. It was in the middle of the day. I went to Chili's, sat down and ate in there, and I had those little Southwestern egg rolls, which is kind of like black beans. It looks like an egg roll, but it's like Mexican food. I had like a big glass of water, and then, you know, the battle against lard that you guys know I'm on. I don't do any sugar, but I downed a huge mug of root beer. It wasn't sugar free either. So I slammed that. But anyway, so when I got back, I put on the sunscreen, but man, it was hot in the afternoon. So those dudes getting off the boat were like, you know, super hot. So I didn't want to go there and bug them, you know, about, you know, getting the autographs. But anyway, so it was a lot of fun. And if you've never been to one, get out there and go see one. It was pretty cool. And then was just a long day. I got back home and I was like, dang, it was started breaking down the videos. Thanks, Mike. In case you don't know, Mike that jumped on, he is our barbecue expert and Disney vacations. So if you need to book any kind of a trip, go check out his channel. He's got ways where you can get a hold of him. But the barbecue joints, Mike, I was talking about how I'm going to try to go back maybe over spring break to catch some Guadalupe bass. And I want to go down to Blanco. And I can't remember what that barbecue place is called in there. But when I went in there, it was right when COVID was hitting, and people around Austin were. There was the first district I ever heard that had shut down. Yep, no problem. But anyway, this girl had two 6-shooters because we have our open carry stuff. Two 6-shooters, and she was all cowboyed up, Daisy Dukes, boots, just a bombshell working in there, and nobody was in there over spring break. And I was like, dang, man, I got this whole place to myself. And of course, I got the 3-meat kind of a deal, but the sausage, and of course, I had to get try the turkey, and then sliced brisket, and of course, cobbler. What else? Oh yeah, like cowboy beans, and anyway, it was good. So I can't really do that much anymore because I've been losing so much weight. But anyway, so bull market. I didn't Bill Dance. He wasn't around there, but Rick Clunn is like 82, and he was fishing. He didn't make the cut, but Bill Dance still does quite a bit of promo stuff here and there. So does Roland Martin, Jimmy Houston, and those guys are out there doing some good stuff. Yeah, those egg roll things from Chili's are delicious. They hit the spot, man. You know what? The girl was like, "Do you need anything else?" And I said, "You know what? Can you get me a chicken avocado sandwich to go?" Because I knew when it was getting out of there, time to be heading home, that I was gonna have to get some food into my system, and of course something healthy. But so it was good stuff. But anyway, the yeah, spring break. That's I'm gonna try to catch a Guadalupe bass. And Mike, I know you're wondering if we could do like a collaboration with crappie. Man, it's just I never think about it, and a lot of times I just catch and release, and it's tough for me to take like a cooler if filled with ice. It'd be if I made 2 trips, but a lot of times I'm backpacking into these spots. I could throw them on ice, but anyway, we'll figure something out. So we need to plan some kind of a barbecue and adventure at that place, if at your uncle's place, if that ever fills up with water. You know, if we get some rain, we could do something out there, and maybe have like a little fishing tournament, catch some crappie, and then do like a shore lunch. So that's a big thing. I hear these guys that I know back east, these people, that's a thing to do. They go out there and they catch fish, and they want to pull up to like an island or like a state park place that has land out there, and they want to do the fishing guides are expected to do like a shore lunch, and people are doing this with like smallmouth bass, a shore lunch. Come on, I could see that with like a walleye or crappie. Oh, that Mike, I'm sorry. That was you that was talking about those Chili's egg rolls. I almost got the fajita trio, but it was too big. I was like, nah, I'm not getting that. Yeah, I don't know, man. We're supposed to be get this pattern swing is we're supposed to get a ton of rain this spring, and so I'm already making preparations so I don't have to deal with any hail damage and all that kind of stuff. But really we just need 3 or 4 good days of heavy rain this spring, and it should fill up. But so what do you have any more trips planned to go to Disney? A grass carp shore lunch. I know, my nephew Luke, the band, their band went out there for a competition. They did a little Disney trip, but that's obviously through the school district. But I honestly, as sad as it sounds, I've never been out to any of the Disney parks. Partly because I need to get I need to get married at some point, get some kids going, and take them in June. Dude, you're gonna have a lot of fun. That's cool how you got that set up there. The thing is it better to go to the one in Florida or California due to I don't know about June in Florida might be super humid. Yeah. Oh yeah, by the way, I don't know if you knew that Christian had his surgery back here. He's got that cut right back here. So they got him fixed up. He was working on some sinus stuff there. He got that sorted out. But yeah, it's one of those where you got to wear like two or three shirts out there in Florida if you're gonna, or have like two or three shirts you can change into. That would be me because you know how much our crew sweats all the time. Anyway, but what? Hey, have you heard about this over here by us? Not too far off the tollway, they're gonna build like a Disney themed kind of a deal. I don't know much about that. I guess now's my chance to get some info, like like a Universal Disney kind of oh yeah, yep, or like one of my yep, exactly, one of those fishing shirts. That's exactly right. Universal. Not, oh, okay, I got you. Yeah, so I'll be kind of curious to see how that gets rolling. Man, you talk about field trips for kids. That place at the end of the year, that place is going to be just packed. That's good. I'm sure the probably what is it that they're targeting for like 2027 for open, maybe 2026. Anyway, all right. So that was pretty much it. I just want to give a quick rundown and show off some of this loot. This one I may turn into a hat cam, but yeah, any of those Lake for anything that they've got there. They got all the terminal tackle too, which is good for the wacky rigs. Oh, and they even have this cool thing. Dang, I don't have one of my frogs here, but one of these hollow bodied frogs so the hooks come up. They've got these two little holes, a little gadget where you can slide on those hooks, and then it'll give you a little trailer hook, a single that comes up that's weedless to ensure that you get a good bite. And for crying out loud, I didn't buy it. I told the girl, you could see it in the video. I'm like, oh, I need to get some of those. And I didn't get them. I don't know what I was thinking. So I need to go to the website and order them and get them. She was really nice. I think I'm going to put together like just a separate video for Lake Fork trophy lures and talk about that. And then I think I'm going to do a separate video for Taku Ito because I know there's a lot of Japanese media and viewers. People are constantly looking at him and Fujita stuff for fishing. There was Japanese press there all over the place, and those people were really nice. And then I may put together like a video on the boat wraps, and the truck wraps were so cool. All right, man, take it easy. Yep, everyone's got to get ready for the work week, including me. I got to jump out of here pretty quick. Take care, bud. Yeah, so I'm thinking about maybe putting together a separate video, breaking them up into smaller ones. And but that's it. Man, I gotta start planning for spring break. I'm gonna go down to the coast. It's in I don't know how many days, and then I wanted to maybe on the way back stop and try to catch some Guadalupe bass. So that's what's going on. I don't really have any other big news. I've got some bombers somebody gave me that are just beat up. These are flat A's. These are awesome. And I've never seen these. These are like clear, see-through with the weights in them. But it's like mirrored. This side was all jacked up. It had a almost like a big wad of melted plastic on here. And so I had to sand it down. And I'm not really a pro at doing any kind of lure coloring stuff. This one with these chips in here, I'll probably just put red over them like it's bleeding. Because other than that, the color's not too bad. It's that baby bass color. And then the split ring on this, I'm going to have to cut that one off. And then this guy, I think this is a 6A. This one's just all beat up. But some of the faded beat up ones look pretty good. For spring break, bull market, I'm going to try to get down to Corpus Christi. So hang out down there and do some fishing with my uncle and his wife, and we'll see how that goes. I got to get a hold of him and see if I'm going to stay with him or if I'm going to stay somewhere, because depending on if they have other people coming down, I don't want to, be an inconvenience there. But they've been catching some fish, so I've got a decent plan now for coastal fishing. So I've got a different tackle bag. A lightweight one that I could take when if we go wading. And then I've got I'm gonna bring one of my ugly sticks. I'm not gonna bring one of my bass rigs. And I've got a different reel I'm gonna take down there. So I'm gonna just not as last year. I think I took like 3 rods and a whole bunch my big tackle bag, but it was just too much. So I'm gonna take 1 rod, my big tackle bag, and then a smaller one. And so get out there and do some. I'm gonna, usually we use shrimp and we catch a sheephead, and that's a lot of fun. But this time, I'm gonna just start chucking all kinds of crankbaits out there, because Bomber makes a whole line of crankbaits. They got mullets. They've got a bunch of cool stuff. If you guys hadn't really checked on Bomber lately, go to LureNet and take a look at all the stuff they got. Their crankbaits are really, really nice for coastal stuff. Then they have a series called All Water. It'll work on both coastal and freshwater. So that's going to be the plan, is to head down there and do some fishing. We had a good time last time. The fish weren't biting quite yet, but we still had a good time. We saw some crazy stuff down there too. There's always something going on down there. Fun stuff. I don't mean anything like weird, but just good old fashioned. Mainly because spring breakers, people start heading down there, and you see a bunch of stuff like that going on, which is kind of cool. And the other thing is, when I'm down there, I'm going to talk some shop with him, because see if he's going to put a bracket together for an NCAA tournament. He's sneaky about how much he knows about college basketball, and so I need to see what he knows. I need to some info on some of these Big Ten teams. I don't know if he's going to do ESPN fantasy basketball or not. I think he used to, but so we'll talk about that and all that good stuff. That's pretty much it. What are you going to do for spring break? Do you have one? Some people don't. I guess if you're with a university or a school, you do. Just depends on it. And they do them at different times. Some colleges will sync up with their local schools. Some of them are, like ours is coming up, and then some districts are the week after. So you never really know. I just know when mine is. But it's gonna be fun. So I'm definitely gonna be trying to making some videos down there. One thing I didn't do last time is I didn't do any nighttime fishing, and that's a lot of fun to do coastal wise. So Yeah, man, I tell you what, there's a lot of people I work with are just going to kick it at home this year and just relax. It seems like this year has been I mean, it's been smooth and fun for a lot of people. I mean, generally in speaking, but uh, I think a lot of people always appreciate the rest to be able just to hang out and just chill for a little bit. All right, there was something else I was gonna look at, or where is it? Hmm, might be out in the truck. Anyway, so I got to get on it. I got to make a few more of these 1/16 ounce crappie jigs. I want to make some more for this spring. And I still have my little crankbait box of crappie lures, but I've also got these ready to go. So, and really now, from about now on, things will start picking up for all the fish. Today, when I was out there, I saw a school of catfish, which is weird. You kind of think of them as being solitary, but there were three big ones going right in front of me, about 6 feet out. And so, what did I do? Threw a lure in front of them, nothing. They just kept swimming right on by. So I think last year when the crappie really got fired up. See, I went in April to my crappie spot, two weekends in a row, nothing. I think maybe caught one. Then it went into early May. Went up there, barely any. Part of it was because the water was low. Then I had to get ready for the end of the school year, and so I never made it back. But now I caught a bunch of white bass. They were tearing it up. Actually, the white bass this week into next week will start really diving into the creeks to get ready for spawn. And water temperature, it's once we start getting up around 55 to 60, 60 is a magic number then for everything. But so thunderhead for crappie, go for it. Man, they're a lot of fun. I've got some stuff that I want to test out too, one of those little mini steel shads up at that place in Oklahoma. So and from here on out, every weekend people are going to be piled in there. But I don't mind hiking back through the woods in there to get to a spot on the bank. I know last year I was surprised because there's like mosquitoes all in there, and I was thinking, how are there mosquitoes now? But they were in there. So I'm gonna do that maybe last week of March. And so what I would do is I would drive up there on a Friday night, and yep, you sure are. I think I'm gonna like last year. I drove up, stayed in a town near about the next town over because where my crappie spot is, the town that's here is really just a couple, stoplights or whatever. So I spent the night, or I got to the hotel, went and fished that evening, came back, spent the night, then the next morning went out there, spent the whole day, and fished it. And there just wasn't, nothing was really moving through. And so then I did that the next weekend, same thing. But anyway, yeah, I had a friend of mine that was using his on a boat. Now they have those big screens up on the front, that forward facing sonar, and he was beamed out about 150 yards, and he was looking at it, and there was just a giant blob on what would be a normal bottom, and he was could swear that that thing kept moving about a foot. And then he got to looking at it, and he's like, man, that's like a giant catfish. And so he was fishing for bass, like trying to find brush piles. And he just stopped there trying to pull up his waypoints. And he saw it on there. And so he started dropping all kinds of junk. And of course, the catfish wouldn't hit anything. And then he went off, to headed to the waypoint, and he was trolling along. He could see a whole bunch more catfish, and they were somewhere schooled up. Gar too. Gar will show up on there, and gar are, they're everywhere down here. Short nose, long nose, alligator gar. I don't know. They kind of fight like a pike. I just don't. I saw a guy that was intentionally fishing at the crappie hole. He knew how to catch these gar. Had this elaborate treble hook rig system, and they were just crushing the. He was using shad, and he had something else on there, but when he would get them up, he would use like a, he'd slit their throat, but he had a hatchet, and he would dice up part of it, and then he had these tin snips, or like these metal shears, these scissors about this big, with the big handles on them, and just the big choppers. I mean, they were just super huge. Make these things look like a toothpick. Well, he broke that out and starts cutting up, and then he filleted it out, got the meat out, white, fluffy, excellent meat. And he didn't mind that I was standing there watching him. I said, man, I got to learn something here. I've never done this before. And he said, if people just take the time to cut them up the right way, the meat is excellent. Yep. And he talked about how you could smoke them too. That's exactly right. All right, everybody, I got to get ready to jump out of here. I just want to hop on and talk about the adventures. And, if you get a chance, get out there and start fishing, get the lures wet. I know up north water's starting to open up a little bit in some spots. I got a guy that I know up in the La Crosse area on the Mississippi. I guess the water's been open around there, but he's got some other spots he fishes where the ice is breaking up, and he's been catching some crappie. All right, everybody, thanks for hanging out. Hey, thanks for checking out that video about the Lake Fort, tournament there. Please share that. Get that thing circulating. And I'm gonna, like I was saying before, I'm gonna do some segments of it, smaller videos, and get those going. But all right, thanks for hanging out with me, guys. Until next time, I will see you then. Bye bye.